Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
Hello.
Doing well, thanks.
Long time no
This
talk.
this is not Daryl and this is not Joe.
No.
This is Richard and John because Daryl and Joe are still on vacation. It will be for another week. So thanks, guys, for joining me tonight.
Yeah, good to be here.
You're welcome.
What's happening in the world?
Stuff. Ozzy's funeral was today.
Did you live stream it?
I watched parts of it because every time I looked, it was just somebody showing a street, and I missed most of it. So I just watched the playbacks. So it was cool. They had like a 5-piece brass band in front of the funeral procession. Did you see that? And they're doing Iron Man, so they did that whole.
I thought it was great.
It's like they're doing that whole kind of intro with the trombone or whatever.
Yeah,
it's killer. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so it was a nice little thing. Kind of made you miss them a little bit, even though I wasn't like the biggest fan. But Ozzy's just one of those names everybody, grew up on. I did, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we drinking tonight, Richard, at the tap house?
We are drinking Irish Stout at the tap
There you
house. Cheers, one and all. I
got my Tim Hortons. I don't know what John's drinking, but
Coke.
Coke.
In an official Coke glass. There you go.
Is it Coke or Coke Zero, like the glass says?
It is Coke, so I don't know. It might be a battle over there. Might be a little fight going on, like you don't belong inside of me. That doesn't sound right. That didn't sound right.
No, let's move on. Maybe Coke will sponsor this since you're giving them the plug there.
Yeah, there you go. I'll wear my Coke shirt next time.
Yeah, fat chance of that.
We're not big enough for that?
Probably not. I mean, we only have at this exact moment, there's probably only like 812 people watching. So it's probably not enough for Coke to invest their money.
Well, they're missing out.
I know they are.
It'll be like that. It'll be like that insurance commercial. I found you $1.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. Anything going on musically? I don't like this is kind of for me anyway, kind of a uneventful week. I've just been working my ass off. But anything exciting going on? Buying any records? What's happening?
Yeah, well, I'm still putting out videos. I made, I think, 5 total videos. I picked up like 115 records.
Jesus.
Some lady called me. It's in the video, but she called me. She's like, "Oh, I got your number like 5 years ago at a yard sale." Because anywhere I go, I always say, "Hey, do you have albums?" And I leave my number. Somebody actually called me back after 5 years, and she's like, "Oh, I want to get rid of them." So I picked up 115. I'm not gonna be keeping all these, but it's some good classic rock. Like she was at Woodstock. She's telling me all about that.
No shit.
Yeah, she saw Hendrix and she was talking about Santana and Hendrix and everybody at Woodstock and that whole experience.
Man.
So I'm like, I'm digging it. And I'm going through. She has like Humble Pie and Clapton, like some typical 70s stuff. 10 years after, there's a band Cactus I never heard of, but they're kind of.
I don't know what they do.
Yeah, they're like that blues rock, that kind of typical 60s, 70s sound. But there's a whole crap load of them here. So we're having a nice talk, and I'm just I gave her a little price, and she's like, okay, and we're like, see ya.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm just kind of going through them. There is a kind of there's a white album in here. It's Beat the Hell, if I can find it. Oh boy. Talks amongst yourselves. I'll find the white album, but it has stuff in it, and it has the numbers on it.
All right.
It's an older copy, but it's beat up.
Okay, you go find it. I was at a mini VC meetup this weekend with Steve Carlson and Chance from Concert Buddy and a couple other local channels. Good time. Spent a little. I didn't go crazy, but I did buy some new things. So Cactus is great. Good to know.
How you doing, Record Now?
Yeah,
I found it.
Like I said, it is beat up.
Well,
there's the numbers.
Let me supersize you here. Hold on.
So there's that.
Oh yeah, right on.
But like I said, it's been taped together, and
Well, don't get rid of it. Hang on to it, or
Yeah, and it's in pretty decent condition, even though it's not even in the sleeve. But it has I don't know what it originally came with.
it would come with the poster, and then there'd be 4 fixtures with it.
Is this a poster?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming you have some of these.
Yeah.
Knowing you have like 6 copies of this.
There's a chance.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's beat up, but it's kind of cool. So if it plays, I might just hold on to it because it's old. You know.
Yeah, you should. Well, that's a first press. So.
It's like that one that I have, the revolver, or one of those I think I showed you, where it was just no sleeve, flat as a pancake, but the album's perfect.
Yeah.
So I just kept it. I'm like, what the hell?
Hang on to it. Why not?
Yeah, and look, it's trying to get out of there. Look at it, it's trying to escape.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are rough, but the albums are really nice. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, I'll see what I do with them.
Well, that's good find.
Yeah. And I've been organizing CDs over at the record shop and helping them get their CD area all. So I've been bringing them home, cleaning them. They get stuff. Just people drop off their CDs now.
What's a CD?
It's one of these things. Oh, you're gonna like this one though. Look at this one I found. It's Aerosmith. That doesn't look right. That looks like a gynecological.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, that one.
your wings or whatever.
Yeah, there it goes. It's flying. It's
That's
Aerosmith.
cool.
Yeah, so that was in there, and it has one. You were asking, Rob. It's got this thing called a CD in there.
Really?
Yeah. So this is really, it's a nice little. It's one of the greatest hit steps, I guess. Ultimate Aerosmith hits.
Oh, okay. Ultimate Aerosmith. It looked like the cover of Get Your Wings or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's a comp. So it's like all the way from Mama Ken to Lay It Down. I don't know what album that was on. Girls of Summer. Are those extras? Maybe.
Could be. Curtis, how you doing, man?
Yeah. I don't know how far that goes, but
We may see Aerosmith in our discussion later this evening. So
yeah.
I make the joke about what's a CD because it's funny. My son, who's 9, is so used to me playing records that several months back, the first time I pulled out a CD, he goes, "Dad, what's that?" So I mean, how cool is that in 2025? A kid knows what a vinyl record is, but has no idea what a CD is. That I've done something right here.
No kidding. Yeah, that's funny.
Good parenting.
Yeah. He still has no interest in music whatsoever, but Record Hound says cover repairs aren't hard. Yeah, you can actually for seam splits like those, you can actually get like pre-adhesivized or pre-glued or whatever cardboard strips that are folded, and you put them inside and then press it together.
Okay.
So that the repair is done inside the jacket, and it's not really visible. So it's a good way to fix those.
Yeah, I got I don't have many like that, but that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's kind of a good idea.
If you Google it, like record seam repair kit, or I don't know, but I've seen them and thought about getting them because I got a feel like that as well. So
yeah, that's not a bad idea. I might do that.
Yeah, it's worth hanging on to. I would. Why not?
Yeah, still doing my homework over here. I'm a completist on more things than I thought.
That's what Richard and I were saying earlier this evening. I mean, I figured I was a completist on like 3 or 4 bands. No, a lot more than that. So,
and then a couple, I'm like a completist, and then way more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just looking at my Hendrix stuff. Holy crap. So, yeah, I'm still making.
I mean, and that's a funny one too, because the man only put out 3 albums, and yet what is available is astonishing.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some concerts, yeah, it's good, yeah.
Yeah, I find there's certain bands that I have everything, and then I go looking for, the bootlegs and the live concert unofficial releases and all that kind of stuff. So
the radio shows, all that stuff.
Right. Where do you draw the line? Like, I don't know.
You don't. You just keep buying and buying.
Well, every time you say you're going to draw the line, you don't. Like, I'm out and I'm like, okay, I'm it. No more Neil Young. I got, and then, what's this radio broadcast with 8 CDs in it or 9 albums in it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take that. Oh, what's the, and there's a Tom Waits next to it. Oh, look, there's a Zevon. Oh my God, these
Well,
radio.
you know, I said to myself at the beginning of the year that I was gonna really slow down my record buying and only buy the stuff that I absolutely had to have.
Same.
And so far this year, I've bought like 75 or 80 records. I know that's not a lot to a lot of people, but we're only like 28, 29 weeks into the year. That's like 3 records a week. That's a record every 3 days. And for someone who said I'm not going to buy anything, I bought a lot of records already.
And I said exactly the same thing in January. It's like, okay, I'm dialing back. I'm going to budget, yada yada. And I have like 5 pre-orders coming in September already.
I got 2. So yeah, it's you see something, you go, well, I have to have that. I got to have it.
Yeah,
of course. Again and again and again.
A couple of weeks ago, the family and I were driving in this little town near where I live, and there's an antique market. It's one of those where, you know, there's a whole bunch of little stalls in it. You just go through and find whatever you want, and you go pay for it at the cash at the front.
Yep.
And, you know, there's obviously in every third stall, there's a milk crate full of records. And I wasn't going to buy anything, but I flipped through. I'm like, well, that's only $3. That's only $5. That's only $2. And I ended up spending $100 in records that day.
Shit. You have a problem. That's what it is.
Problem. We all have a problem. I'm Rob,
problem.
and I have a problem.
Yep.
Is it called vinylaholic or something? I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Is there a BBA or something?
Brian says, I love those places. Yeah, me too, man. We've got like within half an hour where I live, there's like 4 of those kind of places. And all of them have like one or two crates here and there and about 20 different stalls, but each one of them has one like just records, and it's, you know, everything's sleeved and sorted, and I have to go back to each one of those places and go through that vendor because I don't want to drag my kid through that. It's bad enough that every third stall I'm looking at something.
Yeah.
But to actually sit there and go through everything would take an hour. I'm like, I won't drag the kid through that.
There's one on the way to Orlando, and I like to stop in there, and my kids have tolerated it once or twice. Now I have to strategically plan it out. Like when we stay in Orlando, it's like, okay, am I going to make a half an hour drive that way to a record store or half an hour drive to that antique mall? Because there's so much there. And sometimes it's overwhelming how much there is. You know, there's one booth that's just, it's just crates and crates and crates of albums, and they're underneath and they're everywhere. It's good for the hunt, but then you start going, okay, can you get rid of the crap, you know? And
that's the other thing too, is there is a lot of shit in those.
Yeah,
there really is.
Yes.
I don't need any Edie Gourmet. I don't need it.
Jim Neighbors, Andy Williams.
Right.
Oh yeah, Jim Neighbors. What a voice Gomer had. I mean, come on.
Who knew?
Yep.
Record on saying crate digging is how I've gotten my entire collection. Completion is impossible.
Yep.
I mean, I think completion is impossible for anybody. I mean, we can't. I mean, we're going to talk tonight about how we're completists on certain artists, but collections never ever complete. Never.
No.
Never. But I could see how it would be even harder if you're just digging in a flea market, because you're at the luck of whatever that vendor has been able to find.
Well, the one thing that gets you, like if it's an outdoor flea market, you're going to move a lot quicker through it because it's hot and whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're inside, it's like air conditioned. I'm like, all right. Next thing I know, the wife's calling me. I'm like, oh crap. Okay, I got it.
I try to plan those because I travel a fair amount for work, not as much as I used to because I ride the desk a lot more than I used to, but I would make sure that if one happens to be somewhere in the reasonable vicinity of somewhere that I have to go for work that day, I'll just make sure that I stop in on the way home or on the way there or in the middle of the day or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of do the same thing.
Right? It says, I'm like a kid in a candy store when I go to that place Rob has mentioned. Very cool. Yes, it is. Yes, they're dangerous. I haven't been to the one. There's one between where I live in Hamilton, Ontario. It's in a little town called Freelton. It's a Freelton antique market. I love that place. Haven't been there in a while, so maybe I'm due next time I go down to Hamilton or Niagara for work. I'll zip in there because pass it on the highway. And you're like, oh, I know that there's a bunch of records in that building. So
See, it's tricky for me. It's tricky for me living as close to Denver as I do, and there's probably more record stores than I even know are here, and I tend to gravitate to the same ones all the time. Steve Carlson only moved here from Michigan 6-8 months ago. He knows of more places than I have, and I've lived here for 20 years. So
oh wow,
how he did that? It's record stores just he's been everywhere.
It's weird where I am because our record stores suck. So the town that I live in, there's one small record store. My office here is larger than the record store, and she does a reasonably good job, but you can't go there any more than every few months, or else you're going to look exactly the same.
Right? It's oh look, it's the same stuff you had last time I was here.
Yeah. And then there's one the next town over, and then that's it. I got to drive to Toronto, where there's a ton in Toronto, but I hate where they are in Toronto is all downtown, right. And I'm I'm not going downtown.
Oh,
so yeah. So our topic tonight, I don't put the ticker along the bottom anymore, but the topic tonight, records are so scarce. Yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, there's not nearly as many stores here as you've got down there. That is absolutely true. Our topic tonight is artists that we are completists on, and we didn't realize until we started pulling records that we're completists on a lot more artists than we thought we were.
Yeah, I'm still looking. What the hell? What am I doing here? When did I do this?
I scratched the surface, and Richard's texting me earlier going, there's more here than I thought. And I go, me too. So, yeah. So we're kind of going to, sort of look at it two ways. Artists that we are a completist on, artists that we have everything. And then those that we're, striving to be completists on. Maybe there's one or two that are eluding us, but if they put something out, we're going to buy it. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at tonight. So, yeah. What's Ryan saying here? U.S. collectors are seriously spoiled just because of the massive amount of records. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can point out a couple in the St. Catharines area. Well, please do, man. I'm going to be down there probably maybe even as early as next week for work. So I got to go down to the Falls because I have a customer down there. So might be in the area next week. We all know which each one of us is going to lead off with. It's a no-brainer. So, John, Richard, which one of you guys wants to go first?
Let Richard go if you're ready, Richard, and I got to go grab a couple.
All right.
Okay. Well, I guess I have a reputation for being just a teeny bit of a completist with Gary Newman, maybe.
I'm shocked.
I have 125-ish CDs of Gary Newman. So yes, I have multiples of different albums because it got reissued or released or whatever. So that does happen. But as far as vinyl goes, it started with The Pleasure Principle and Cars, which Gary Newman is known for. That's his signature song. Most people who don't know that Gary Newman's been doing this for 40 some years, call him a one-hit wonder with Cars. Well, lo and behold, and I'm woefully ill-prepared here, sorry. This just came out last week, which is a 3-record live Newman album recorded at Wembley in 2002 that covers pretty much 40 years worth of his career. And the album kind of came about as a response to the fact that in 1983 he said he was going to retire, and he did a big show at Wembley then and said, I'm done touring, see ya, and turned around next year and did another record and kept going, and 40 years later he came to a perfect circle of coming back to Wembley, which was his goal because his career at some points had been really in the toilet. Coming back in glory to Wembley to do this show. And it was a really big, kind of retrospective of 40 years of his music, which has fascinated me since day one. I picked up this album that I backtracked and got replicas, and his first album, that's back in 1979, 1980. And then ever since, like, oh, there's a new Gary Newman album. Got it. Moved into the CD era and kept that going. So then we got back into the vinyl era and started all over again. So yeah. And weirdly enough, I'm finding I'm not a completist of Gary Newman because I don't have things like the best of Gary Newman because I don't need it.
You don't need them. I didn't count those either because
No. Well, unless they're missing, like a greatest hits and they put the extra song on it.
Right.
But that's still not really technically an album. So.
Right. And I probably, come to think of it, I probably do have those on CD, but I just never play them because I have all those songs already. So, yeah, Gary Newman, I might have just a little bit of a problem.
It's not a problem.
Yep.
It's a sickness, and we're here to help you.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
We're here to help you.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
I think we can all take a guess what John's going to show.
Yeah, well, we said we're going to go ahead and get these bad boys out of the way, right? So, yeah, everybody knows. I was just counting it up. So I have between CDs and albums and everything, I have about 75 things with Billy Joel on them. So, of course, there's duplicates in there and, different things. But then I have a lot of bootlegs and radio broadcasts and all that. So if we're going to show the beginning of the career, then you had like the Hassles, which is kind of cool. And then that was their second and last album. One of these, I've got 2 copies. Can't remember where I put it. There's a note in here from Chance somewhere. It says Chance sent me a copy.
I remember he sent you a copy, yeah.
Yeah. Not going to get rid of that bad boy. And then, of course, Attila in the meat locker. Wearing those Ben-Hur costumes right there. Yeah. In the documentary, Billy said he walked in there and said, what the hell's going on here? There's some great pictures of them dressed like this and they're laughing and having a good time. He's like, whatever. But that was his heavy metal phase when he wanted to be Led Zeppelin there and realized he's not Led Zeppelin. Then a couple of sort of rarities. This was, I think, a Record Store Day release, Carnegie Hall 77, right there during the Stranger tour. So that one, and then this one was cool. I've got the big poster back there somewhere, right there, of the Live at Yankee Stadium 3 album set. And I know there's one more in here that I didn't find, but then as a collector, and you go, and these radio broadcast things are just getting out of hand because the quality is amazing. It's not the best stereo or whatever, or sonically, but it's clear, like it plays nicely. And it seems like every week there's a new radio thing from somebody. So I picked up a couple. These are kind of cool along the way, more like Hassles and stuff. But where's the one? Oh, this one. These are kind of cool too. I got these in New York when I was over there on my honeymoon. I went to a record store and they had these homemade jobs, but it's like him at home on a Casio keyboard practicing The Stranger. He's still working out the lyrics, and it's got like a mamba sound or whatever. It's not mamba, it's whatever rhythm, samba maybe. So it's got the Casio cheap drums going, and Billy's just like dun 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 dun, dun, kind of like playing it, and he's working out the lyrics. So stuff like that's on here. I don't know how people got it, but there's a couple little home demos and things. So that's really like huge for me as a fan to have something that personal, like him working on those songs. That's kind of cool. But then radio broadcast, I bought this one, and then a couple weeks later, this one showed up, and it's 3 different concerts, performances, I guess, in studio. And actually, the stuff on this one is one of the discs on here, but I got so much more, and it's kind of cool to hear these really early versions, especially like Cold Spring Harbor, because I don't know if they ever really quite got that recording right, fixing his voice and the music. But him playing it live, and sometimes the lyrics were a little bit different, or you just get little touches in there of things that you didn't get to hear before. So, yeah. So there you go. There's the Billy. I think I kept it short and sweet. I could go for another 4 hours, but I'm good. I got my fix, so we're good.
Okay, so predictably, Richard showed Gary Newman, and predictably, John showed Billy Joel. So predictably, I'm going to show. What do you think?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no.
Let me guess. Blue Rodeo?
We're getting these out of the way, right out of the gate. Blue Rodeo, my favorite band. There's more on CD than there is on vinyl. Not all the albums are out on vinyl, but I have everything on CD, and then everything that has been released on vinyl, I have. There are two that are incredibly hard to find, and this is one of them. Are You Ready? From 2005. This was never actually for sale in stores. You could just buy it at the merch table at the shows.
Wow.
And these are incredibly rare. They only pressed a couple thousand copies. And when they come up for sale, I think there's one on eBay right now for about $300. So I have it. My wife has a copy, and I also have an autographed copy on the wall. I didn't buy all of them. Helps when you know someone in the band. So there's this one. And then there's my favorite one, Days in Between, which is from 1999. Again, wasn't in stores on vinyl. It was just kind of a merch table thing. I've got a signed copy there as well. So I've got everything they've released, including these two incredibly hard to find releases. And then there's a bunch of like promo stuff out there that I've got that's kind of weird. So like this is my favorite one. Yeah. So this is from their first album, Outskirts. So what this is a 2 LP. It's Outskirts and the CFNY live concert broadcast. CFNY was a radio station in Toronto. I think still is, actually. And the first disc is one of those radio interviews that you just play, and it's the band talking about the album. The second is a show that the band played in 1987, which is when the first album came out. It's a great FM concert broadcast from the Diamond, which is a club in Toronto. So, like, this wasn't for sale in stores. It was just a promo thing that radio stations had. And, I've got this kind of stuff. I've got some other interview discs, just like the weird shit. So, I've got everything that they put out just because they're my favorite. So,
because you like them.
Yeah, I like them.
When I was at Twist and Shout, I actually looked to see what Blue Rodeo we had down here.
Probably none.
Nothing.
No. Yeah, because they never made it in the States.
No, but I mean, I could find like obscure Gary Newman stuff in Denver, but you think something, Canada is just up there. It's
true. True.
But yeah, it's just never, or it's getting snapped up. They actually had a place setter for it, but nothing in there.
They made some
those greatest hits things that you were showing me.
They made some news this week because there's a portion of there's 4 albums from their catalog that's never been released on vinyl, and there isn't any plans to release those 4. And I know because I've talked to a couple guys in the band about it. I had a conversation with the band's manager about it. But then out of the blue this week they released Greatest Hits Volume 1, which came out in 2000. They just announced it's coming out on vinyl because Volume 2, which was a brand new record that came out 2-3 months ago, it was on vinyl. So everyone's like, well, what about Volume 1? And so they just dropped that last week, and it's coming out later this month. So I pre-ordered it. And it's interesting because that's the first back catalog release that Warner Brothers has, decided to press. So
it's a start.
It's a start. Maybe the other ones will maybe get a chance. Diamond Mine will still get its Netflix moment, I believe. Diamond Mine. You don't mean the documentary, do you? That's called Lost Together. Yeah. So yeah, no surprise that all three of us, we figured we would lead with the band that we're obsessed with, I guess, maybe the way to put it.
Well, I have a great many more obsessions, but
Sure.
that's the big one.
We led with the ones that everyone knew that we would lead with. How's that?
Correct.
So there's John. All right. We'll go around again. Richard,
Sure.
tee another one up for us.
All right. Well, let's go to Canada.
I think I've been there before.
Yeah, so have I. More than a few times. But anyway, so this is the Canadian band. It's like poster child for Canadian bands. Whoever could that be but the mighty Rush. Of course it's Rush. This is actually where I started with Rush, was moving pictures. And no, I was familiar with the music. I was among the camp of people who were like, Geddy Lee sounds like, a chipmunk on helium or something. I don't know what. But yeah, and let's just say it grew on me. I was also not late to the game, but fairly late to the game, realizing that Rush were a 3-piece band putting out an incredible amount of sound with amazing precision. So got moving pictures, backtracked to get Permanent Waves and Fly By Night, and just kind of worked my way back. I'm not a total completist with Rush, at least not on vinyl. I don't have Progressive Steel, and I don't have the first album on vinyl.
Some of the newer ones are really hard to find.
They are.
Yeah.
And so, but then, after this, I picked up everything, even in their keyboard era when people were going, "Ooh, I don't like this. Ooh, this doesn't sound like Rush. It's not prog anymore." I don't care. The song craftsmanship was amazing, so I just kept buying them all the way up to Clockwork Angels, and I had to wait for a reissue of this damn thing because it sold out like almost immediately when it first came out. Talk about going out with a bang. This is a solid Rush album. It is really, really good. Saw them on that last tour as well. So, gotta show the gatefold. It's the law. Yeah, very dystopian song themes, whatnot. Everything's kind of centering around the idea of concept of time and clockwork. Love this stuff. Didn't see Rush until the Tests for Echo tour. Archives is really hard to find. When I do find copies of Archives, they look like they have just been battered to heck. And that's what I would love them to reissue. Just like, hey, I got the first 3 albums in one solid thing. Live Rush albums, every era has its own like exit stage left. Yeah, all of it. Time Machine is one of the later ones too. I saw them at Red Rocks a couple of times. Once on the R30 tour. That show sold out like that. Somehow got tickets 3rd row center. It was amazing. It was like Rush in IMAX. I loved it. So yeah, Rush is definitely one band that I was able to be a completist on. It's sad to say that Rush is no more, but I still like Geddy Lee did a record store day of demos from his solo album. Pick that up. So I'll continue to kind of pick up the continuing era of Rush projects, Rush related anyway.
There you go. Trivia for you, Richard. Not that you're ever going to do it, but if you're ever watching Toronto Blue Jays game and they're playing at home, right behind home plate, row 3, about 8 rows over, if you see a guy with a baseball cap on, it's Geddy Lee. He's got season tickets. He's there.
Oh, I know.
He's as big a fan as he's a bigger fan than I am, and that's a lot. But he's there 80% of the time.
Yeah, and he'll go to like whatever city he's in. He would go to Rockies games, and
he's a massive baseball fan. He's a huge like museum of baseballs in his house.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna say, yeah, it was good. That's pretty cool. And he knows everything about those.
Yep.
Because they're picking up specific balls, and he can tell you everything about it.
Yep. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Kind of like
John.
Records.
There we go. There you are.
There I am. All right, my next one. So I had to count up the numbers of just what I have between, again, CDs and albums. I have 41 objects of this artist. And it's Tom Petty. And here's so I have everything as Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I think he only had, was it 2 or 3 that were just his name on it? Was it 2? I can't remember which number. But yeah, I have everything. This is kind of cool. This is a recent pickup. More radio transmissions. But what's cool on here is, and I've seen this in album form too, 2 or 3 of the discs, it's not for you, Rob. He's playing with Bob Dylan.
Oh, for God's sake.
So basically, they're the backup band for Dylan. So that's kind of cool because I'm a Dylan fan too, so it works for me. So you don't get a lot of vocals for Petty off of 2 or 3 of the discs, but the rest are really cool broadcasts. You can hear, just he had great communication with the audience. He knew how to perform, and tells quick little stories, and they're always silly, So, yeah, it's kind of cool. I kind of have a gatefold. It's kind of a gatefold. It's a CD version of a gatefold. But yeah, and then some of the, I would say, rare albums. I think they finally reissued this because I had a copy of it.
Oh man, I'm looking for that and the second one.
Yeah,
I picked that up a few months ago. It's really good.
I don't think I have. You know what? Maybe I don't have that second. I thought I had.
I can Amazon it, but I just haven't bothered yet.
They finally, because I had a copy, but it had a big scratch, and it came that way, and I couldn't get another copy of it. But finally, maybe a year ago, I was in the record store, and the guy's like, "Oh, did my Mud Crutch come in?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Well, your Mud Crutch." So they reissued it quietly. I don't know if it's still available or not.
It still is, yeah.
Okay. So I guess I got to get 2. I just realized I have.
There's also Mud Crutch Live too.
Yeah,
There it is. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe
yeah.
so.
Oh, I do have it. It must be over there. Okay, so I do have Mud Crutch too. Okay. I was like, I thought I had that. And then this one, it kind of was hard to get a hold of on vinyl, but then they re-released it, and then they kind of mixed it up with that other Wildflowers stuff, some of the songs. But this was the sound. I had this soundtrack when it came out. I still have it on CD. A great soundtrack. Movie was not good, but the soundtrack I loved. And then even the multiple versions of some of the songs like Walls and like Angel Dream and stuff like that. But this is just a fun kind of Petty album. And this is right around the time of Greatest Hits, Last Dance with Mary Jane, and Wildflowers. So he was on a creative roll. Pretty wild. And then this one came out, I think it was this year. This Tom Petty Live 1982. Yeah. This kind of goes with that documentary that was on Netflix, and that was a good one too if you haven't seen that one. But this is 3 albums, but they really did a nice job with it. Just them live. The thing I love about this, they even screw up a couple times, and then they laugh about it and they move on with it, and they kept it on the recording, and I love that. Because it's these guys aren't perfect, and for you to be in front of a crowd and then just screw up and go, all right, hold on. Because I think there was a tempo issue or something on one of the songs, and they're just like, okay, this isn't happening. But I love that stuff where it's human, and you get to really, it shows you another side of the artist. Doesn't always have to be perfect, So kind of cool. But yeah, so those are kind of my rarity Tom Petty's. But like I said, I have everything else by him. I just grew up on Petty, coming through. I was a late 80s Petty fan first, with Full Moon and Southern Accents. And then I kind of did a deep dive. So I know that it's weird. I know that middle period so well, the mid 80s to the mid 90s maybe. But then I kind of lost touch of the stuff after the 90s and the stuff before. So I'm going back to re-listen to it.
How close is Gainesville to you?
Gainesville, that's like St. Augustine. So that's, I'm talking about distance, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
So it's kind of like a local band.
No, I'm sorry. It's about 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4.
Kind of still a local band. So there you go.
Oh, they're Florida. We embrace our Tom Petty. Believe me.
Good.
Yeah. When I saw him in concert here in Tampa, we saw him twice, and it was just, I've never been in a crowd like that with that much energy. ever. Like just they were, and he's like, I don't want to quit, but we got to go home, But he gave everything. I mean, that's talking about like a Springsteen type concert. It was like 2.5 hours easy. And it was just hit after hit. It's just like, holy crap, man. Can this guy write a bad song?
That Mudcrutch Live it's called extended play. It's just 4 tracks, but it is vinyl.
Okay. I've seen that in some form, not in a while, but yeah, I gotta get that then. So I have everything petty.
Very cool. Okay. Let's do this and let's do this. All right. Well, I mean, the other logical one for me to talk about is I'm a completist on the Beatles as much as anyone can be a completist on the Beatles, because that's a hard thing to do.
True.
Because where do you draw the line, right? So for me, it's kind of I guess there's kind of 4 components to it, I suppose, or 3. I don't know. I have all of the. Well, this is how we'll start this here. So I have all of the. Obviously, the North American releases were different than they were in the UK, and I have all of those. And within the North American releases, the Canadian ones, at least the first 3 were different than the American ones, and then the rest were the same. So I have the 3 distinct Canadian ones, but I have all the Canadian ones. So I have, the Beatles' second album and Long Tall Sally, the albums that Richard and John, you guys would be used to. We had them pressed in Canada too. So they look exactly the same, except on the back they say Capitol Records of Canada. So I have all of those. So all of those are complete. I have them all in mono and stereo if they were available in stereo. If it was just mono, and I have them all, right? All originals, all first pressings, got them all. And I started like that because, it started with my dad's collection, and he gave me his Beatles records, and he bought them when they came out. Like when the White Album came out, the day that it came out, he was in line at Sam the Record Man downtown Toronto when he bought it. So I have it. I have his original copy of Beatlemania with the Beatles, which was the first Canadian album. So I have that. I have some of the U.S. stuff that wasn't available in Canada. So the VJ stuff. There was 4 VJ releases. I have them all. Sorry, there's one I'm missing. I'm missing the Beatles versus the 4 Seasons. Other than that, I have them all. They're all first pressings. The condition is marginal, but I have them all. So I'm a completist insofar as I have all of the North American original first pressings. Then I have all of the what I call modern issues. So everything that was brand new, starting with Live at the BBC and One and Let It Be Naked, and then I have all the mono remasters, and I have that covers all but 4 of the albums because there's 4 of them that were only on stereo. So I have the 2012 stereo of those 4 albums. So all of the new stuff that's come out since the late 90s, I have all of that. So I'm complete on that. I'm not complete yet, but I'm getting there on the UK stuff. So I want to have original first or second pressings of all the UK stuff. It's a little harder to do because it doesn't usually make its way to North America. So this is not a first press of Please Please Me because the gold label ones are really expensive. This is a third pressing. It was pressed a month and a half after the first pressing. But I have this, and I have, Beatles for Sale. The only ones I'm missing to complete my, we'll call them, first generation presses, if you will. I don't have the White Album. I don't have Yellow Submarine. I don't have Let It Be. Those are the only 3 that I'm missing. I have everything else. Got them all. So I would say that I could probably safely consider myself a completist on the Beatles. Because
that's fair.
Yeah, if you have, because if you have all the albums, that's cool.
There's not a song that they put out that I don't have. So
right
there you go.
Yeah.
I've got the anthology. I've got everything. So
the past.
How do you skin that cat, right? I mean, you could. There's some people that want every label variant, so they've got every. That's if you want to do that, cool. Knock yourself out.
Yeah. You have to different degrees. I think like if you have all the albums, you're a completist. If you
Right.
have all the albums plus like past masters with all the B sides on, you're a completist. Yeah, you could never be the complete completist. There's not enough money in the world for all the Beatles stuff out there.
Right.
Well, then you're talking like singles and all of the other. I mean, how many singles would there be? That would be another crate full of Beatles.
And every country's different too. Oh, you could have the German press, or you could have the French press. Like,
when do you stop?
Exactly. When do you stop? So for me, I got all the original North American stuff. I've got all the reissues because that's what I listen to. I listen to the mono remasters because they sound fantastic. And then I've got my UK originals, and I listen to those too because that's how the band intended the music to be. So, yeah. This record I'm seeing Beatles LPs, Capitol 6000 series, 45s, and Capitol Canada only series. Yeah, I got a bunch of those kicking around too. So I used to have a bunch. I still have a bunch of the singles, which I got when I was younger, and I had started to collect those, and I went, no, got to draw the line somewhere. I don't need 45s, just strictly albums, because get out of control in a big giant hurry. So all right, we're all caught up on comments. Go around again, Richard.
Sure thing. Well, before I do, my mono box arrived down there.
Nice.
Very good.
I've opened it, looked through it. There's been kind of a consistent issue with the White Album having the flip back not sealed, and yep, I have that problem too.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna live with it and not fix it because I just like rearranged it, put it in a different sleeve that's tighter to hold everything together, and I can pull the records out. But I really haven't. I really want to spend more time with just the book and then go from there. Anyway, I digress. This band would be another one of those bands that would be almost impossible to be a completist to the degree of things like 12-inch singles and unreleased B-sides and all of that stuff. And there's constant reissues and variations. And that's the Smiths. And I love the Smiths. I have loved the Smiths from day one. I heard How Soon Is Now on MTV, and I went, I have to get this. So Meat is Murder was my first album. Again, backtracked. I got this. This is the first album. I got this really late in the game. So it's some of these things have taken me a while to acquire. But, Smiths, Meat is Murder, The Queen is Dead, Strange Ways.
Yeah, Queen of Dead is my favorite. I'm
Queen
starting.
Dead is amazing. I love that album.
Yeah, I got the other one that's it looks like a regular album. It's a compilation. I forget the name of that one.
Louder Than Bombs.
Okay. And
The orange one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I have those two, and I'm like, yeah, I need some more. I didn't think I'd get into his voice, and I definitely wasn't into it in the 80s when I was younger. But it's like Tears for Fears. I kind of slowly got into those guys. And in the Smiths, I'm kind of on a little journey right now. So I'm going to definitely be.
Yeah, it's good that they've kept, since they've reissued these, they kept them in print for the most part. I don't think this is too hard to find. And this I picked up within the last 6 months. So
yeah, every time it's in the record store, it sells, and they sell for like the $40 mark.
Oh, yeah, they're not cheap.
No, and they still sell.
I love this live album, Rank, which
cool.
when I first got it on, when it first came out, for me, it was on CD. I don't think it might have been released on vinyl when it first came out, but pull this up for a minute because it's a gatefold. We got to investigate. So, backtrack, it's a pretty decent coverage of at least the first 3 albums. There wasn't any Strange Ways songs on here. But it's the Smiths, and it's crazy, and it's wild, and the best live version of The Queen is Dead I have ever heard is on the album. It stomps. They were on fire. So great one to pick up. But if you're going to get into like finding all of the 12-inch singles and if you live in the UK, that might be doable, but here in the United States, when I do see 12-inch singles, they're priced unbelievable amounts of money. And they're usually, I'm not going to say they're destroyed, but even if they're not in great condition, they still sell for crazy amounts of money.
They are definitely man.
Then we get into the whole Morrissey thing. I've followed Morrissey up to certain points, and then I kind of lost interest in a lot of his newer stuff. But there's certain key albums of Morrissey that I also picked up too. Johnny Marr, unfortunately, never did much for me solo, so I don't have Johnny Marr stuff. But there you go, Smiths.
Yeah,
Rob Walker definitely has like the monopoly on Smiths everything. He probably has like every 12-inch.
I would imagine he probably does.
And then some.
Am I up? Is that why I'm
You're
big?
up.
I'm up. Okay. All right. So my next one, just trying to get it out. It's like Fort Knox here, the way they put this album in here. So this one, between CDs and albums, I have about 35 albums, but I think I have everything. I don't think I'm missing anything on these guys. Yeah, I have everything. So it's Pink Floyd, and I'll just show you some of I have some bootleg stuff over there and CDs, but this was kind of cool. I thought, Pink Floyd, Saucer Full of Secrets in mono. I'm like thinking it's psychedelic, all that, and it's like, really, you're gonna make it mono? And they're like, get it. So I grabbed it. It was a Record Store Day release, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. But it's good. It does sound good. But you just think they're going for full stereo sound, but it's interesting what they can do even in mono with that album. So that's a fun album too. It was Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun is on there. Saucer Full of Secrets, good stuff. This they finally released. Finally. Live at Pompeii. I don't know if they're really bootlegs or just, I don't know how they were released, but I had it on CD, Pompeii, but never really like an official release. So it's kind of cool for them to do it this way. 2 album set to gatefold. There it is.
That's cool.
It's a cool movie to watch, just how they're experimenting, and then they're filming all the ruins of Pompeii, and it's got a little bit of history in there at the same time, so it's kind of cool. And then a couple variants of Dark Side. This was this was the live one, live at Wembley. So they were doing alternate artwork on that. It's kind of cool. And what a great performance, and to pull that off live with all the sound effects and everything is just amazing. So this is good to have for a Floyd fan. And then I had to indulge myself. I go, no more gimmicks, not doing gimmicks anymore and whatever. And then dumbasses come out with this release of Dark Side of the Moon. I even like this alternate cover. I mean, it's more of it's just a sleeve that goes over the album. But I think that's kind of cool, because if they're going to do something different, why not change the cover? But this is the one that had the see-through. They had the artwork
On the disc?
Yeah, on the bottom though.
Yeah.
And it shone through. So it's it does look cool spinning, but you end up with 2 albums because they did the same thing. But yeah, I guess they did it to go, okay, I don't know, it's like an alternate to Picture Disc, because Picture Disc, it's on that, and they said, let's go through. So that was that one. And then I kept looking at this, and I was like, yeah, I got to kind of have that. And it does look cool when it's spinning over there. So, and they did do 2 different types of artwork for each one. But, just imagine that, like spinning around and playing Dark Side. It's kind of cool. So now after that, no more gimmicks. That's it. Pink Floyd, stop giving me gimmicks, because they're so good with their artwork and everything. It's all part of the package, and it's like, you fool, stop. I don't want to buy anymore. So, but anyway, yeah. So I have everything Pink Floyd. Took me a little while. There's some areas where I don't listen to so much, but I pretty much like it all. It's just like any collection. Now, like, I don't know about you guys, like Rob with like Blue Rodeo or Gary, Gary Newman and that. Do you have like, I think with my favorites, I always mix up which album I love the most. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, hey, this and this one. But some bands that I'm complete on, it's only certain periods of them that I kind of just gravitate to
Yep.
every time.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay.
Andrew's joining us. He's saying he wants that dark side. And while we have Andrew on here, we need to apply some peer pressure and publicly shame him.
Shame.
Because Andrew just bought the Bruce Springsteen unreleased box set,
Nice.
but refuses to open it.
Oh,
What?
That's what I said.
it's too
So
good.
if he doesn't open it, I'm going to find out where he lives. I'm going to go into his house and I'm going to open it for him. So, Andrew, we better see an opening video.
Is that the one that Brian Embryonic Robot opened?
Yes.
Yeah. He was like trying to cut things and he was getting all anal about it. It was really
You know, it's funny. So the box that it comes in, the cardboard box that it comes in from, you know, whatever the hell the record label is, if you cut that box and open it up and fold it back the other way, it's got all these Springsteen graphics on it. And people are keeping those as a souvenir. I got some VCLT a couple weeks ago from Joe. And that's the box that he used. And I open it up and it's the Springsteen stuff on the inside. I threw it in the recycling. Now Andrew's going to have a heart attack because he heard me say that. But
that's worth $100, man.
Yeah, for the price of that thing, I would have kept everything. I would have kept the box that came in.
He's cut the tape, but he hasn't opened it yet. I said, if you're not going to open it, you don't deserve to own it, and I'm going to come get it because I would listen to it. So, shame on you, man. Look at that. He's having a coronary because I told him I threw the box in the garbage.
Pull it out. Pull it out.
Hey, John, Chance wants to know how far you are from St. Pete's. He saw a video about Banana Records being the largest record store in the U.S. Curious if you've been there.
Okay, so yes, they have 2 locations, which is kind of cool. Sorry, I'm over here pulling records. Yeah, really cool. Actually, Scott, DJ Vinyl Vertigo, he's in that area, so he knows them well. But they have like a main store, pretty well curated, and they have all kinds of gimmicks and books and all that in there. But then there's a warehouse, maybe 10 minutes away, a little bit further south, and you walk up these stairs and you start there with albums, and then you go down into there, and it's just wall to wall. And some of it's hit or miss kind of stuff because it's been there for a long time. But yeah, it's definitely worth because there's like 2 other record stores in that area within 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So you could make a day of that area, definitely.
I think the idea of digging through their warehouse is more appealing than going to the store.
I agree.
Right?
I
would.
You could do either one. Yep. It's pretty cool. You never know what you're going to find in there. I got some good Ray Charles that was just sitting around.
Apparently, Andrew sleeps on the Springsteen box set every night.
It's his pillow.
Open the damn thing. It's a good thing I don't know where you live, Andrew. I'd be knocking on your door. He's in Toronto somewhere, but
we need a Springsteen lullaby album for Andrew. So put it on every night and go to sleep and use his box for a pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Put on his Bruce Springsteen curtains.
Chances agreeing warehouse finds could be fun. Yeah,
it's fun in there. It gets a little warm in there, but it's fun.
Oh,
that's part of the
charm.
Okay. Another band I've talked about that I'm a completist on, U2.
Oh, I knew you were going to talk about them.
And of course I got to talk about it because I just became a completist on U2 like 3 weeks ago when I finally got Passengers.
Indeed you did.
And you know what? I had it on CD years ago, and I haven't listened to it in probably 20 years.
Yeah, see, but
because it's a little strange.
Right. It's weird.
But even though it's a little strange, there are some really, really good songs on here. There's some weird shit, and there's some stuff that's really, really good. So I made a whole video about this. So thanks to Devin, one of our viewers, who let me know that this was available in his local in Saskatoon. He picked it up for me. I paid him for it, and it made its way to Joe in Regina, and then it made its way from Regina to me. So thrilled to finally have this. I've always been a U2 vinyl guy. I don't have all their 12-inch singles. There he is. Devin, how you doing, man? Thank you again so much. I greatly appreciate you doing that for me. I've always been a U2, record vinyl guy, but the singles, there's so many.
There are.
And they seem to put one out almost every record store day, and it's like 3 songs and it's $40, and I'm going, I can't do it. So I have all the studio albums. I have there you go. That's a great EP. I love that.
I got the bargain because that was expensive when it first came out.
Yeah. I have all of the live stuff, all of the best of. They have some amazing box sets, but again, they're really expensive. I would love the box set for All That You Can't Leave Behind. It's 10 LP, but it's like $300.
It's
not
crazy.
doing that.
No.
So I have the studio albums, I have the live albums, I have the greatest hits. I have a few of the 10-inch that they've come out with. I have some of the fan club stuff. Their fan club stuff is absolutely incredible. But U2 is one of those bands that even when no one was putting out vinyl in the 90s, they were putting out vinyl in the 90s.
They were.
And I bought all of my U2 records when they came out. So this is I pulled this in because I know you love this record, and I know you love the companion record as I do. From 2004, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. This is not the reissue that came in a couple years ago. This is the original press from 2004. I've got my original Octung Baby from 1991. It looks like it came off the shelf yesterday. It is pristine. And I've bought every U2 record on vinyl from day one. So I'm a completist, but I'm also an OG completist on all of their records. So.
Which is like a double whammy. Well done, you.
yeah. I've got like Zooropa, Pop, all of those. I have originals. So happy about that. I'm glad that they've repressed stuff. I mean, I don't need to be an OG snob. I was lucky enough to find all those when they came out. I'm glad that stuff's been repressed because why hold your music back so people can't have it on the format that they want, right? Like, reissue it. Who gives a shit? Get it out there so people enjoy it. So big U2 fan, got everything they put out. Curtis, did anybody watch Bono's one-man show? I enjoyed it more than I was expecting. I didn't see it. I did see the little 45 that's got the 3 songs on it at a local record store, and they wanted like $49 for it.
No.
And I went, no. I'm not paying $49 for a 7-inch. That's absolutely absurd. Did I know that U2's OG Pop is translucent? I did not know that. I'll have to check later. But I bought mine in like 1990, whenever the hell it came out. So I didn't know that. Cool. I know that the OG of Rattle and Hum is transparent. It looks black, but if you hold up to light, it's actually see-through brown.
Ooh, I have an OG. I'll have to look that up.
I don't know if the American one's like the Canadian one is, but the American one might be. I don't know. But
yeah,
I didn't know that about Pop. I'll have to take a look at that. Very cool.
Did you get things like the Unforgettable Fire CD Super Box? You did not.
No.
Do you buy CDs at all or no? No.
I bought a couple the other day, just when I was pre-ordering Blue Radio stuff. When I pre-ordered the new Blue Radio Greatest Hits, one of the guys has a side project, and I needed it on CD because you can't download it anywhere. So I figured spend $10 and buy the CD so I can rip it and have it on my computer. So no, I didn't. I mean, I have the studio albums on CD also from back in the 90s because I was back in the 90s. I had my Discman with me everywhere I went because who didn't, right? But I didn't have any like the super boxes and all that kind of stuff. No, but What I'm still doing for you too is if I find any 12-inch singles that are reasonably priced, I'll buy them. You see them a
Right.
lot and they're very expensive. The older ones aren't so bad. But I always keep an eye out for the fan club stuff because
Yeah, I
fan
have a
club
few of
stuff,
those. You and I both have that 10-inch double live thing.
yeah,
That
from back
sells.
in like 1981 or something like that's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I was at Twisted Shout. I swear they had a copy of that. It was cheap. It was like $18. I'm like, why is this so cheap?
Right.
It's so good.
Yep. And then they did for Joshua Tree, they did the 4 singles on 10-inch and they bundled them together as a 4-pack. And the
Oh, I never
studio
saw
track
that.
is on one side and then a live version's on the second side from the Joshua
Oh,
Tree anniversary tour. I've got that. It's phenomenal. The best fan club one that I have though is for the U2 360 tour. It looks like
I
a
want
record, but
that.
it's 2 CD and I think it's called U22.
Yeah.
I bought it for $20.
Shut up.
I did.
I see that on Discogs and it's like always like 50, 60, and I
Yeah.
can't find it cheap.
I found it at a record store. It was on the wall, and I knew exactly what it was. And I go to pay for it, and the guy's like, that's not a vinyl record, right? I'm like, I know exactly what it is. Take my money.
Just ring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Ring me up.
$20, it's working.
It's fantastic.
No, I moved my CDs around. My YouTube stuff is in another room, and I have one of those club CDs. I think I showed it to you once. You were like, "Oh, I want that so bad." I can't think what it's called. It's the one. No, I can't remember what it is. Oh well. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
I have been a lifelong completist of all things Husker Du, Bob Mold, and any related. That one, yeah, that is so good.
That one.
Any related projects related to Husker Du, Bob Mold, Gary, like Grant Hart, and bassist Greg Norton. But Bob Mold specifically, I have everything Bob Mold. So when he went solo, I was picking up Workbook. This is an OG from back in the day. I have reissues of this because it's one of those ones where they reissue it and they add all kinds of cool ass crap or a big live album on the B side or whatever. But yeah, Bob Mold solo. I love how he kind of goes through phases where this is like calm and content Bob. His next album was Angry Bob, and then Sugar comes along, and it was all over the place. But every Bob Mold album. This is the most recent one from this year, and this is probably going to be one of my top 5 albums for the year because it is so solid. It's Bob doing Bob.
What kind of
Angry with the World?
What style? What genre? I guess.
I would call him like just heavy guitar rock.
Okay.
He just plays the shit out of the guitar and sings over the top of it. If you look this up, stream a song called "Here We Go Crazy." Neanderthal is amazing. My favorite is Fur Pink Augers. Fur Mink Augers. Where'd I get pink from? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a guitar soloist. He always, if he's not doing like acoustic live stuff, he's with a trio. It's usually Jason Narducci, someone on drums. John Wooster's on drums for this tour. I missed this tour when it came here because it sold out like that. And playing this teeny weeny venue. But that picture right there, I took at a concert in 1995-ish in New York City. Had it developed and followed that tour to the next city. I had him sign that in DC for me.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's a big that's like provenance. I took that picture and he signed it.
Signed it. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, I have signed stuff up the wazoo from Bob Mold. Met him a few times. One of those characters where he comes across as like being kind of gruff, and he's not. So his music may be angry, but he is like the most calm, cool, collected, really tall. He's taller than I am. But yeah, So Bob Mould, Husker Du. I have all the Husker Du albums, all the Sugar albums, with another project that Bob Mould was within the 90s-ish. It was a little bit more commercial sounding. And I picked up some Grant Hart solo projects. He sadly passed away years ago. Greg Norton was the bassist who kind of left music for the longest time, became a chef, got back into music within the last like 5 or 10 years, and formed a band with some other rock-related folks, one from UK Subs and one from some other band. Name is just escaping me, but the name of the band is Ultra Bomb, and I saw kind of a division of that a few months ago here in Denver. So, yeah, gotta love my Bob.
Yeah, I have to check them out. I've always heard of Husker Du, and I've never even listened to anything by them. So it's just a name you always hear, and I got to get to it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of Husker Du was a little bit more punk forward, and then as their career, they had several albums, and he kind of tapered off because they internally combusted. Really, they just were not getting along towards the end. But then Bob went solo and just reinvented himself in a different way, and it's just been kind of a chameleon with guitar rock. And he's an icon. He's played with all kinds of folks. So, yep.
Yeah, I'll check that one out.
If he ever comes near you, go see him. He does a great show.
Okay. Cool.
Tim, how you doing, man? Welcome. All right, John.
All right. So this one, let's see. And I've just gotten, I don't know, probably gotten into him the past 3 years, and it's gotten stronger. I have 38 objects between CDs and albums for him. And I have all of his albums, and it is Tom Waits.
Oh, okay.
This guy is just fun. Like, he only has, how many albums? Like, not that many. I do have them all, but he has, I forgot what it was. Anyway, not that big of a catalog, but he goes from like singer-songwriter in the beginning all the way to so experimental. I don't know. I guess it's experimental, but when you say that, I think people think something else. But he loves to just bring in odd instruments and make people throw people off and do different things. And his lyrics are creative. So I have everything, but he's like that artist I know I like a lot. Heard every album, like it, but I haven't absorbed it. Like, I can't tell you what song is on that album yet or anything like that, but it's so fun to discover him, and watching him in interviews is insane. He's just so calm, and he plays a little bit, but then he gets out there and he's kind of like a whole different character when he starts singing.
Exactly.
And he does put on, it is sort of an act, but you know it because he got into the Beat Poets and stuff like that. So he wanted to be kind of more gruff and kind of sound like them and do different things. So that's where his style started changing, and he decided, I'm going to be this for this album, be this character maybe, and then add all these instruments. But all the production is so clear, you can hear everything, but there's so much going on in there. So it's a wild ride going with the Tom Waits music. But the ones that I have here, this is, how many is this? This is 10 discs of radio podcasts. And it's never the same. Even listening to him live is just fun, the way he carries on, and you can pick up on that audience vibe. So this is cool, but these aren't like that expensive, which is nice, and they're pretty well made. So I like picking these up. And if that, those 10 CDs weren't enough, there's 6 more CDs of radio broadcasts. But between these, it's kind of cool because it goes into the 70s where he started, and later concerts, so you can hear what he was doing. So I like that. I don't know if this is rare, but I got this recently. Nope, look at a CD trying to escape. Look at that bad boy. Just as bad as the album's trying to get out of there. But yeah, it's just a live album of him, and it really, really captures it. And in the albums, let's see. This is cool. This is a record store day one. Just him live. It isn't like the best recording, but it's, you know, you can hear him, hear what's going on. And early Tom Waits, kind of playing with the audience and stuff, so you can get his personality off of this. Then, of course, another radio broadcast. I just love that picture. It's kind of cool. And this is volume 2, so I got to get volume 1. I hate it when that happens. It's like the search for the album that probably doesn't exist.
Doesn't that? I don't know about you guys. Maybe I got some OCD or something. But if there's an artist that I'm a completist on or trying to be a completist on, does it not bother the shit out of you knowing that there's one record out there that you don't have and you can't find?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's that itch you can't scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, where is that volume 1? That happened with an Art Blakey. I forgot which one it was, but the one I got was volume 2. But I wanted it, so I grabbed it. And a year later, it's funny because we go to St. Augustine every year. Go to the same record store, same spot I got volume 2. The next year they had volume 1. So I'm like, there we go.
There you go.
It's like, you're my favorite record store. He's like, why? Because you had volume 1 and 2. This was kind of cool. With these are I think mostly outtakes and things that weren't on the albums, different versions maybe, but he put it together in different forms. Like this one's called Brawlers, this one's called Ballers, and this one's called Bastards. So, but yeah, two albums each, and it's just a lot. If you like Tom Waits, it just adds to the collection and just lets you explore him. And then the last one I thought was kind of neat. This came out last record store day. It was Scarlett Johansson, and she's doing Tom Waits songs, which is really very interesting. And she's got a great voice, but it's really hidden in the music with this. But if you know Tom Waits and see what she was doing here, she's kind of going with but not in a more, I guess you could say, I don't want to say acoustic, you know, like he uses live instruments and things, and she went a little more, not full electronic, but more keyboardish kind of feel. So, but in her own way, she's kind of doing a Tom Waits thing with this album, but she just sings right through it. Nice, pleasing voice. And she did some songs. I had to go, what album's that on, kind of thing. So yeah. So if you see it and you're in Tom Waits, or if you just like Scarlett Johansson, there you go.
I've heard good things about that. That got really good reviews when that came out.
Yeah.
I could look at her do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good one to have.
Cool. All right. I have everything by Aerosmith. And, you know, I've talked about it before. There seems to be a little bit of snobbery in the vinyl community that the 80s stuff is garbage. You can't like that because it's too commercial. Oh, piss off.
I hate that.
I hate that too. Who cares if it was successful and played on the radio? If you like it, you like it. I like that stuff because when, you know, Crazy and Crying and those songs were all over MTV and Much Music, I was of that age, right? I was the young, you know, I don't know, I went 14, 12, I don't remember. But the point is, that was my Aerosmith. I love the old stuff. I love Toys in the Attic and all. I love everything that Aerosmith put out, with the exception of the last album, Music from Another Dimension, because it's just a dumpster fire. But I have everything that Aerosmith put out. If you want to be an Aerosmith vinyl completist, which I don't think there's many people that want to do that, but if you are, there's two that are very, very, very hard to find because they were pressed in the 90s and 2000s. Good luck trying to find Just Push Play. I've only ever seen it once, and that was the time that I bought it. And this was in the early days of eBay when I got it for basically a steal. So
Right.
Came out in 2001. So I think the only thing off of here was Jaded was the big hit off here, which I guess arguably was probably the last hit that Aerosmith had was Jaded.
Yeah.
Probably. So
that song Pink, when did that come out? Was that an album before that?
That was the album before that. Yeah.
Okay.
That was on 9 Lives, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You think that it's on this one because this album is pink, but not the record itself. But yeah. So I mean, never seen it when they come up on eBay or Discogs. They are expensive as hell. Devin is saying he needs to find Honkin' on Bobo. Good luck, man. Honkin' on Bobo is incredibly hard to find, but I'm going to show you one because I have it, being the asshole that I am. There you go. Honkin' on Bobo on vinyl.
I got one. Nah.
You got this one, John?
I'm kidding. I'm being you.
Okay. Yeah.
Put you in
So
that light.
this was what, 2004. So the second to last album, and it's their blues album. It's them reinterpreting old blues standards, and I love this album. Most people hate it, but I really love it. This was the one and only time I saw Aerosmith was on this tour, and I bought it shortly thereafter, again off eBay in like 2004 when nobody was buying on eBay in 2004, and there was no PayPal back then. You actually had to go and buy like a certified check or a money order and mail it to the person. Like this old school eBay was when I picked this up. So I love this. I love this album. Glad to have it on vinyl. Crazy expensive again when you see them. I think there's one on eBay right now, or there was a couple weeks ago, and they wanted like $400 or something stupid for it. You know, but in 2004, not a lot of folks were pressing records, right?
True.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine that they made very many of them. So I'm an Aerosmith completist, and I'm lucky that I found these two kind of hard to find ones 20 years ago. So
Now, remembering what records being pressed in 2004 were like, how is that pressing? Because a lot
fine.
of
It's fine.
okay,
Yeah.
Because usually early 2000 pressings of new albums were crap. A lot of
I don't have a
time.
problem with either of these. They sound fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an audiophile, so I'm sure an audiophile would listen to it and say it sounds like shit. But to me, it sounds just fine. So
Fair enough.
So speaking of us being completists, Tim, who was with us last week, has an unhealthy Paul McCartney collection. 152 McCartney records and counting.
That's a lot.
That's crazy. And good for you, man. That's awesome. I have about the same when it comes to Beatles records. So there you go. All right. Richard,
I'm up.
you're up.
Been battling which one I should talk about because we're to the point now where it's like, yeah, and I might be a completist-ish, but there are things I don't have. That would be nice, like you were saying. It's either really hard to find or whatever. But interestingly enough, regarding this band, I was never into, or not that into, the Sex Pistols when they came along. It was like, this is interesting, but it's not for me. I have since come around to appreciate the Sex Pistols for what they were and for why they were. But I was much more interested in Public Image Limited, John Lydon's post-Sex Pistols project that had just morphed. Almost every album is significantly different. So this is the first album, first edition, which had, I mean, it was just such a departure from what Sex Pistols were. It wasn't in-your-face punk, but it was experimental and gritty. But if you know how John Lydon sings, you put that on top of it, and you got a party. I love these things. They're hard to get into, but I appreciate them. I became a completist with them, particularly after their second albums called Metal Box or Second Edition, depending on what country you're in. Metal Box actually came in a metal round container box that opened up, and it had 3 albums that were 45 RPM dividing up. They're like 2 songs on the side. I've seen them. I've never owned one because they were extortionately expensive at the time, but I do have the second edition. Public Image Limited came on American Bandstand and did Pop Tones, and it was mayhem. Look it up. You can find it on YouTube. John Lydon's going into the audience. He's pulling people down to make them dance to this sort of atonal, rambling, song called Pop Tones. I love the song. I know people are kind of like, how do you dance to this? I don't know what's going on.
That's like me for every song.
Yeah.
But it sold me on Public Image Delivered. I'm like, oh my God, I'm buying everything they did. Flowers of Romance. They just recently reissued This Is What You Want, This Is What You Get. I need to reissue it, but I haven't got it. But everything. They did a live album, 2 live albums. I have them all the way up to their latest one, which came out a few years ago, called End of World. And they're touring. And I hope they come to the United States because I would go again. Finally got to see Public Image Limited. That picture right there I took of John Lydon. He was about 20 feet away from me, like right over there. And he's just going, did not get to meet the band. I would have loved to get them to sign something because, yeah. Now, John Lydon is on the wanker list.
Oh yeah.
We talk about, he's a Trumpy. He has a mouth on him. He gets himself in trouble again and again and again.
Oh boy.
But I have massive respect for him because musically, he may not be the best singer. Lyrically, it's interesting stuff what they're singing about, but musically and the playing, listening to what's going on behind the singing is fascinating. He finds the most interesting guitarist to work with. So early days was Keith Levine, who just had an otherworldly tone to his guitar. And then I can't remember the name of his current guitarist, but just watching him play, you could just see just kind of like, playing. It's experimentation in motion. It's fun to listen to. So yeah, Public Image Limited, massive fan, will continue to be, even though John Lydon is a wanker.
Now, is it almost like a 4-piece band? I can imagine it being not a very big band, right? It's bass on the guitar.
Yeah, I'll show you. This is the other picture I took that night, so it actually shows kind of what they look like. So it is a 4-piece. So it's bassist, guitar, drums, and he's singing. John Lydon doesn't play anything, but yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's always been a 4-piece.
Yeah. That's all you need for punk or that kind of music. Just that bass player in tune with the drummer, and then the guitarist can just go to town.
Well, but even bass players, he had Jaw Wobble was his bassist for the first couple of albums, and the man, he's a bassist on the level of defining bassist as Geddy Lee, Jaw Wobble, Flea. They have a signature sound, and he brought that, and so yeah. But I can only imagine that, working with John Lydon has to have its stressors, which is why people keep leaving.
Too much.
People. Martin Atkins was his drummer, and he's a thunderous drummer in the punk world in the 80s and 70s and 80s. So he finds the right people to work with, but keeps his fan base. I love them. They're good.
Cool.
All right, John.
Okay, so the next one, kind of discovered him, I think, around the same time as even Tom Waits, and I'm just like that. These artists, Tom Waits doesn't have that perfect voice, and this guy doesn't either. Warren Zevon.
I love Warren Zevon.
But he definitely will do different things and sing about just about anything he wants to. But it's always with a great melody. Even the albums when I first listened, I think he only has 12 albums total. Something like that. Yeah, 12.
I have 3.
And he worked with so many people, like Jackson Browne, the Eagles are on there, Linda Ronstadt, Lindsey Buckingham shows up, just he knew everybody. And what I didn't know, and it's funny, a lot of people say his first album was that Warren Zevon album from 75 or something like that. But
Excitable
it's
Boy?
not. No, Excitable is the second one, his follow-up.
Okay.
So, but he actually had an album in like 69
Oh.
that he put out. And I finally found it on CD. I've seen it once on album, but it wasn't in really good shape and they wanted too much. So it wasn't working for me. But I just found this a couple weeks ago. And this is his first album. Didn't have any hits, but he does do like a cover of Iko Iko on it. And for him doing it, I like it. I like his version. But yeah, no big hits on it, but it's a good album. It's a good start to his career. But then he went and he was a band leader for the Everly Brothers, so he was touring with them, I guess, for a good 4 or 5 years. But it seems like he got to know a lot of people because I think Jackson Browne produced his second album. He comes back off of that and does the Warren Zevon album. But it seems like he met a lot of people and people loved him, throughout his career and stayed. If you look at even his last album, The Wind, and how many people showed up to just be with him to record that album, which was kind of cool. But, as a guy that struggled, with addictions and things like that. And he kind of talked about it. And there's a documentary, I think they were filming it for VH1 or something at the time, which I can't imagine. Was VH1 still around in the 2000s? I don't know.
2000? Oh, they had their own app channel, I think now.
I don't even know. Yeah. But they're documenting the whole, him going through his final days as well as recording the album and making appearances and all that. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, this was a cool one to find. Just the kind of I want to be a completist. I'm one album away. It's the which one is it? I just saw it. My Ride's Here. I haven't seen it on CD or on vinyl. So I have most of his stuff, except, like I said, I can't find this on vinyl, but most of the stuff are the records. And this was another one I kind of had a hard time finding a good copy of. So I went ahead and just ordered the CD so I could have it to fill in the hole. And I love it when they do these, when they make these little mini albums. I have one of the Beach Boys over there. But it covers 5 of his albums. Well, one live album. But they're just cool because they look like they're in this little case, and then they look like the albums, like little albums.
I have that for the Cars. I have a Cars one that has 5 albums.
Yeah, original album series. And of course they have 2 of these for Billy Joel. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Stop. You don't need another set of, of what
sure
you
have.
Sure, but they look different. They look like
you
gotta have
a little album in there, Yeah, it's tempting. They're still available. Oh boy.
But what a live album. Stand in the Fire is like one of the best live albums.
Yeah, he was just he seems like such a mellow dude too. And then he gets on stage and he's kind of a wild man.
Rips. Yeah.
On the piano too. People forget he's a piano player. But yeah, so they had those, and this filled in what I already had on album, so it's kind of neat to have it on CD too. So I'm going to probably like a double completist, all the studio on CD and all the studio on album.
Oh God, I have that going on too.
Yeah. That's why I say I have 23 things. A couple of a lot of those are doubles and whatever. But this came out and this was kind of cool, and this was preludes and unreleased recordings. It's a double. I think it's a double album set. It's really affordable for what it is, and it came with a book in here. I guess it doesn't want to come out, so I'm not going to force it. But it's his stuff from very early writing career. I don't know if into the 60s or not, all the way up to just before the last album. So it's just a little bit of alternate versions, him kind of working out songs, which is kind of cool, and also I think a couple songs that were not released on here. But it's a nice little collection to kind of wrap up his career. But you're talking about a guy that could write some lyrics that make you see things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I grew up going, it's just that Werewolf of London guy.
Sentimental Hygiene was kind of where I really started getting interested in Zevon and started backtracking. And did you get that Record Store Day box set that came out last time? You did?
I did.
Good.
Yes, I have that
It's
here.
hard to get a hold of. I had it. I don't think I ever saw one, even on Record Store Day, because nobody got them.
Yeah, it was cool to get that because that got me 3 albums in my collection that because I don't think they had really been reissued or anything up to that point. So I was like, ooh, so I grabbed that, and then the same Record Store Day they had the Hindu Love Gods that being released.
I have that. It's really good.
And of course, as soon as I heard he was associated with it anyway, I'm like, let me have it. We're good.
I mind.
Yep. And they both were great. I'm like, man, it's even better when like you hope it's good and then it is good. You're like,
yeah,
so nice.
You're like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, nothing worse than that disappointment of getting an album going, I don't like it.
Sorry I had to disappear there. A slight issue with the child getting to bed and mom not being too happy with his behavior. So I had to disappear for a moment.
Told you the machete wasn't a good idea, man.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
Just because you had one when you were a kid. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. An artist I am a completist on. No. I want to be completist because I'm missing one tiny obscure thing. I'm a big fan of Grace Potter and the Nocturnals.
Yes.
Yep.
Love Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, rock band from Vermont. They were one of my favorite bands. I've saw them. I've met Grace Potter. I've met Scott Tournay, her guitar player. Met Matt Burr, her ex-husband. And then she went solo. Whatever. I have everything. Not everything's available on vinyl. There's some stuff that's only available on CD. And the only thing that I'm missing, there's an obscure EP called Live 05. Can't find it anywhere. But I have everything else. So I'll just show some random stuff. You're familiar with this band, right, Richard, a little bit?
Yeah.
So before the Nocturnals, she put out a solo album called Original Soul. For a long time, this was... You'd have an easier time finding the correct grain of sand on a beach. Like, it was impossible. It has since been reissued, but this is an OG. Came out in 09. It's Grace and Matt Burr, who would eventually form the Nocturnals. And this is pretty good. It's a little more jazzy, a little more soul-y, whatever, than the blues rock that the Nocturnals became. But I have this. And then I have all the Nocturnals albums. 2 of them are available on vinyl. The last 2, the self-titled, and then the Lion, the Beast, the Beat. The other ones are on CD. I've got a few kind of weird, obscure things. There's this, which you probably haven't seen. She did a special for the Daytrotter Studios.
Oh, I love Daytrotter sessions. They're fun.
Yes. So this is hers. Ryland Baxter's on the B side, but this is her and the Nocturnals from Daytrotter. I had to buy a Daytrotter membership for a month just so that I could buy that, and then I canceled my Daytrotter membership. Before the Nocturnals broke up, they were going to start a series called the Volturnal series, like Vault and Nocturnal, and they were going to release live recordings. They only ever put out one, and this is this one here. This is Tanglewood in Lenox, Massachusetts in 2013. It's amazing. They self-released these. They're so good. It's just like a cardboard sleeve. There's nothing fancy about it. And then the band broke up, so they only ever put out one concert, which was kind of shitty. But I got that. Jeez. I got all her solo stuff, which is not as good. She's not taking care of the voice. Done too many drugs. She smokes too much. But what came out just recently is before the Nocturnals put out their self-titled, which was their second last, she was in the studio with T-Bone Burnett making a solo record, which never, ever got released. And a lot of the songs off of it would go on to become Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. They finally released that T-Bone Burnett album a couple months ago. And it's so good. So good, because it's Grace in 2010 when she still had an amazing voice, singing sort of more soulful versions of songs like That Phone, Medicine, Oasis, Paris, Goodbye Kiss, like those songs that would be on the Nocturnal self-titled album. This is really, really good. Like I said, just came out maybe a month or so ago. Got a gatefold. It's just her in the middle, but I've got everything that she put out, and I continue to buy her solo stuff, even though it's not as good, not nearly as good as the stuff with the Nocturnals. But
Yeah, I did get that one CD.
the self-titled one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really good. I like that one.
amazing. Yeah, so good. So there we go. Trevor, he said, you just got in from dinner. What did I miss? Start over at the beginning. Oh, okay, let's do that. We'll just move all our records by.
Yep.
Trevor,
That.
we're talking about albums, or I should say artists that we're completists on, or
We're
very,
on the
very
track.
close and striving to be completists on. So you could probably guess
Where we
John started with Billy Joel. I started with Blue Rodeo. What did Richard start with? Anybody know? Anybody remember? Anybody remember?
Randy Newman.
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about tonight. So thanks for joining us, Trevor. We still got 20 minutes, so let's go around again. We probably go around twice more. Richard.
Why not? Why not, indeed? All right, I talk about this band a lot because I have every album this band ever released and then some. I will say they are harder than hen's teeth to get because only like a couple of them have ever been released in the United States. But that is my favorite band out of Scotland for the last 20 years or so, Biffy Clyro. I love these guys. Math rock trio, twin brothers that are drummer and bass, Simon Neil on vocals and lead guitars, and it is mayhem. It is so much fun to listen to. Their songs go all over the place. What can I say about this? Their singles, they sell out everything. Let's put it this way. I understand how this band has never gotten a not much of a North American following. They've done a couple of few tours. I've seen them in a place here in Denver that's like the size of maybe my house. So if it held 100 people, it was amazing. But I got to meet them. I got to talk to them. They signed stuff. I got drumsticks from the drummer. I have like somewhat of an obsession with the band. Anyway, so this is their first album called Blackened Sky. Then it goes, their progression was just kind of going up and up. This is a band that will headline stuff like Reading Festival, will headline, smaller late falls festivals. They're just about to release an album, and I can't remember the name of it, but I pre-ordered it, the deluxe version, and it cost stupid money. And do I care? No. But their last album that came out a few years ago, The Myth of Happily Ever After, same thing, kind of angular, crazy guitar work. This even had the CD with a little bonus bit to it. They're just interesting, and they have crazy chord structures and tempo changes throughout their songs, and they're relatable and fun, sweaty mess of a concert, but a great time. I think they have 7 or 8 albums. I think I showed a box set that I dissected. It had like parts of parachutes and all that. And
I remember.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So that band.
It was one of those, let's see what shit we can throw in this box.
Pretty much, and sell for stupid amounts of money, and people will buy it, like me. So new album coming out in September. That's one of those pile of pre-orders that I have coming in the next few months. But the mighty Biffy Clyro, Mon the Biff, as they say. Great band. They have a huge following in the United Kingdom. Again, they sell out massive festivals. Everybody wants to go. They're playing the O2 in November or something. I was like, oh, should I fly to England to go see them again?
Sure.
Why would I? I saw them in a teeny venue and met them. I don't need to see them in a massive, 50,000 seat arena. So, yep, major
Cool.
complete Pyro, and can't really explain why, other than they strike a right chord with me musically.
Yep. Cool.
Fair. John.
And would you say, like, I've been really thinning out my collection just for the fact of I want to have that collection where I pull anything out, I like it, and I know that's not going to be, especially when we're completists on certain things, it can't be that 100%.
True.
But with that exception, I've had albums where I'm like, why do I even have this? It just doesn't click with me. Put it out there for somebody else to have, not that it's bad. It's just not me.
Not you. Yep.
So, yeah, I was trying to do that. But, all right, Rob, plug up your ears because I'm just going to do this real quick. I listened to this album today.
I don't know. Oh, what was it? Oh, Jesus.
It's Dylan and the Dead. It's a live album. It's only 7 tracks. And I kept hearing, oh, it sucks, whatever. This is a freaking great album. The musicianship of the Dead. And then you got Dylan in good form for Dylan voice. But they're doing like Knocking on Heaven's Door and stuff like that. And it's cool to hear the band do it. So, or not the band, sorry, the Grateful Dead. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I just want to talk about that real quick. Anyway, next one I have here is The Doors. So I have all their albums, except I call myself a completist because I don't want anything after Jim Morrison. I listen to it and I don't want it. So if you want to not call me a completist because of that, sure. But right up to Jim Morrison period, I just love everything they did. I have like 19 objects between CDs and albums. This one I just got the other day, and I don't know quite what's happening here because it's a really weird. It looks like them, but doesn't look like them. But it says The Doors, Essential Rarities, and I thought it was on Elektra. Yeah, it says Elektra. So it's just a weird picture. That's why I'm kind of like puzzled by it. But it's supposed to have different takes on songs and things like that. So I just grabbed it just to have it. A couple other ones I have. Record Store Day. This one was really good. The last Record Store Day. They put out The Strange Days and the recording of it. It has only like 7 tracks on here, but it's really well produced. They actually gave you a good quality recording to hear like these outtakes. Is it just outtakes? Rough mixes from the album's early session. So it's most of the album, but not every song on there. So it's cool. It's cool to have as a collector, as a Doors completist. This one was not so great. This is the previous Record Store Day, Paris Blues. Had a couple good songs on there, and it was blues-based stuff. In fact, they're on the back here with Albert King. So there was a lot of blues going on. But I think even the first song, if I remember correctly, Paris Blues, it was on a tape recorder. I forgot what it was, like a demo or something. And I think it's Robbie Krieger had it, or I don't know, one of the guys had it, and their kid hit record on the tape recorder and recorded over part of the music.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and it was the only track or something. I don't know how the kid even got to it, but that's the story. But they were able to. This Paris Blues, you wouldn't really even tell that they fixed it, so they did a good job with it.
Wow.
But it's kind of, another cool one to have for the collection. And then I remember when the movie came out, The Doors, back when, and you saw this poetry and stuff that Jim Morrison was doing, and we grabbed these back in the day, and it's just him doing poetry, and this is where the Doors go back and put music to it. So it's just him reciting poetry, but the Doors doing their thing along with it. Kind of cool. It's part of the movie where he's like child's fragile eggshell mind and all that whacked out stuff. That's on here. So Indians dying on the highway or something. It's crazy. And this one officially on Discogs is a bootleg. It was in a collection I had. It's really, 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 really badly recorded. But it's kind of cool to have just because it's, not allowed, makes it cooler. But I think it was released in Paris. It's on Paris Records, and the background that I checked, I guess they are out of Paris. Makes sense. But this is like how many albums? 3 or 4 albums. But kind of just another cool piece to have. You know, it's not like you're gonna play it for quality or anything, but you get some craziness going on. So there you go. The Doors. Is this the last round or what are we doing?
We'll do one more.
Okay, because I'm gonna just do honorable mentions on my last pass.
All right, fair enough. Okay. We'll do an artist that no one gives a shit about. The best I can. And it's not cool to listen to this guy. But we're going to do it anyway. Too bad Joe's not here tonight because this is actually Joe's favorite artist. But Bryan Adams.
No.
Yeah. You know what? Here's my take on Bryan Adams. Love him. I've seen him twice, I think. It's not sophisticated music by any means. Like there's nothing you're not going to listen to and go, wow, he did something pretty great there. No, it's just basic 4-chord guitar rock and roll. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Summer 69 is probably overplayed, but I still love it every time I hear it.
Sure.
You know, I've got some great teenage memories of Waking Up the Neighbors and, you know, not actually Waking Up the Neighbors, but the album Waking Up the Neighbors. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not I know Andrew. Yes, thanks. He's a big Bryan Adams fan, too. Open the goddamn box, Andrew. This is insane. You have a problem.
It keeps the dust off the records that way.
Screw that. No, open it up. It's meant to be played. Jesus. You don't buy a car and just look at it. You drive it. Well, I mean, I guess if you're rich, maybe you do. But
not Jay Leno.
Anyway, I want to be a completist on Bryan Adams. There are 3 Bryan Adams records that are very hard to find. And in order of hardest to find, or least hardest to hardest, Live, which was put out as a CD. I have the CD. I don't have Live on vinyl. I think it was only pressed in like Brazil. I think there maybe was a European pressing. I don't have it. It's fairly regular on Discogs, but it's like $150, and I'm just not doing it. The next hardest one to find is 18 Till I Die, which is actually my favorite Bryan Adams record. Came out in 96. We're impressing a lot of records in 96, so this is pretty scarce. I've never seen another copy. So I bought this in probably the early 2000s. So glad that I have that. Bryan has started his own label. And I don't know how it's going in terms of what he has the rights to release and what he has not. But he just put this out. It was exclusive in Europe. This is Live in Lisbon. So this came out last year, but was recorded in the when was this recorded? This was recorded after the Room Service album, so around probably like 2001, something like that. So you can't get this on his web store. You can't get it at your local store. It was only somehow available in Europe. So I managed to snag this off Discogs. Hard to find. I don't know why. If it's on his own label, he doesn't make it available in his web store or whatever, but really good live record. What I like about it is the Room Service album is not available on vinyl, but there are tracks from that album on here. So songs like Room Service, Open Road. There's a couple others that you're only going to get them here. So it was good to have that. And I'm such a Bryan Adams weenie that I also have this album, Sweeney Todd, If Wishes Were Horses, which was, there's Bryan right there. This was the band that Bryan was in before Bryan Adams became Bryan Adams. I mean, that's his name, but Sweeney Todd.
Like Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka, or Rod Stewart is Willy Wonka.
So, Sweeney Todd, you guys would remember the song Roxy Roller.
No. I mean, I looked it up because you
trust me, if you heard it, you would know. The previous lead singer was a guy named Nick Gilder. He went on, his other big hit was Hot Child in the City.
Yeah.
So before Nick Gilder went solo, he was the lead singer of Sweeney Todd, and they had the hit Roxy Roller. He left Sweeney Todd, and Bryan replaced him. There's Bryan right there with some crazy long hair, silly looking outfit.
That's funny.
Then this was 1970, probably 9, something like that. And then in the early 80s, he recorded his self-titled debut, and the rest is history. So I'm missing 2 obscure Bryan Adams records, but I've got everything else, which is not cool, but I don't care. So, all right, let's go around one more time. We'll make it kind of a turbo round and wrap it up.
Okay, so are we showing more than one, or
You can
just
show whatever you want. The floor is yours.
fine?
Almost anything you want. Let's not
Within limits. Got it.
Right.
Okay. I have been a fan of the Cult since Love came out. I heard She Sells Sanctuary, and I was sold immediately. I bought this album probably the week or two after it came out. I loved that sound. I loved that sort of trippy psychedelic sound that Love had. Yes. And then they went from that to electric, but then recently I finally picked up the one called Electric Peace. Yep, there it is. I love that album. I like electric. It grew on me. It took a while. Worst cover of Born to Be Wild ever recorded in history.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I don't. I think it's terrible. But the Cult. So Electric Peace was the original, more trippy version of the songs off of Electric that sounds more like this album than Electric. So Rick Rubin got a hold of him and said, no, you need more. That amped up what became Electric. I became a completist with the Cult and went back and picked up Dreamtime, their earliest one, which has songs like Go West, which, to me, it's kind of like moving towards what Love would be. Love is still my favorite album of the Cult, but I have followed pretty much their entire discography over the years. Some of their later albums are not nearly as engaging. Half to me, it just seems like Ian Astbury doesn't care anymore. They're just kind of like putting out another album. It's like, yeah, you're okay, we're good, we're done. Yeah. And we'll tour it, and nobody and wonder why the tour didn't sell very well. Some of the albums I saw them several times. I told this story. Do I have Southern Death Cult? I know I have a Death Cult. It might be an EP. So they went Southern Death Cult, The Cult. There was like a whole history on that. But anyway, so I have box sets of the Cult, CD. I've shown some of those in the past here, I think. Have we done a box sets thing?
We should.
We should. I mean, that's not a bad idea. But yeah, I have an awful lot of Cult. The other band that I'll close out with, that I have almost every album with some reservations and exceptions, is Queen. I have a lot of Queen, and mostly reissues because I really had to backtrack with Queen. Growing up, my sister was into Queen with Night at the Opera, and I love that album. I'm okay with Day at the Races, but it's not a favorite. And then I had to backtrack much later to get in the first Queen, and I got Queen 2 as recently as maybe last fall. For the first time, I finally got Queen 2. So, then I have all the way up to The Miracle and Innuendo and all of those later ones. So, if I have it on vinyl or I have it on CD, especially the live ones, like Live Killers is a brilliant live.
Oh, I have that. It's awesome.
I love it. It just kicks so much butt. And that rocking out version of We Will Rock You, which is 10 billion times better than the original, my opinion.
I agree.
It just has more. It's like, buddy, you're young. Love it. So, yeah. Queen, the Cult.
Very good. All All right, John, bring it home.
All right. So yeah, I was looking through, and I realized too, like some artists I like a certain period. So I'm a completist to what I want, I guess you could say. I guess that's another little category.
Makes
It's
sense.
like it's like Aretha Franklin's early period, but then she gets in the 70s and 80s, and it's kind of like Etta James. But like Ray Charles, I'm definitely the Atlantic years, and from the 50s to the 60s, I'm only missing maybe 2 albums of his, and I'll be a completist where I want to be with Ray Charles. Otis Redding, I'm only missing 2 of his albums, but I want to be a completist on him also. He obviously didn't have many albums. Clapton, I'm a completist except for the last 2. I have like 59 objects of his CDs and albums.
That's a lot.
But the last one that's considered a studio album is the Christmas one he put out, is more of an EP. And I could have grabbed it, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm missing anything if I don't get it. But then his latest album that came out, I think last year, was just too wanker. It's okay. You can be Wankerville however you want and not bring it into the music. I'm good.
Yeah.
You start whining like Van Morrison in these albums, and it's like, you know what? Shut up. I've had that song. I've had enough. And it's not the whole album, but there's at least 3 good songs on there. It's like just the title, you're like pissing me off. So I'm not buying your album. So
I think he's going to headline our Wankers episode in a few weeks.
he could, yeah. So yeah, Clapton. I'm still, but I grew up Clapton, and I have all Dominoes and the Yardbirds and Blind Faith, all that stuff. And then Beck, I'm only 4 albums away from him having all his stuff. I really got into Beck, so I want to have all his stuff. What was the other one? I have all the Led Zeppelins.
Same.
Springsteen, yeah. Springsteen, I'm going, do I want everything? I'm still back and forth on him. And you think he has more albums than he has. It's pretty manageable.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I want, but I'll probably end up being just.
I foresee myself getting there too.
Yeah, I'm close to the finish line. I'm not that far off. So it's like.
I'm a little over halfway.
Yeah. The other one that surprised me, it's funny when you go through, because I list everything, so I know what I have. And I forgot, I like have everything by Van Halen now, except for Van Halen 3, which really sucks. I don't even know if I can't even get through that album.
I have it on CD. It's terrible.
Yeah, I can't do it. But they put out that box set of the Sammy years, and I'm like, okay, that was my era. And then they're re-releasing everything, and I started going, oh, I like this David Lee Roth stuff. So I ended up meeting in the middle, and now I have everything. Somehow everything Van Halen, which I like. It's not a go-to, but I'm like, oh yeah, I do have all the Van Halen stuff. So that's kind of cool. And then Stevie Ray Vaughan, I have all his stuff except for the Brothers album. I don't really care for that album too much. And then Dylan's another one. I don't think I'm going to complete him, but I'm on a pretty fast track. I have like 38 items of his.
That's 39 too many.
You just don't know music now. But
and he doesn't know how to sing. So
yeah. But yeah, there's periods of his I don't really. It's like Elton John. I only want to pick and choose. And Dylan, I think he's got some spots where I'm like, I really don't want to fill it up with that. So I might not. So anyway, so those are the ones that I have.
All right. I'm gonna close this out with a band that is currently in the midst of a massive worldwide headlining tour right now. My band, Oasis. The band that I, came of age with in the 90s, right? Their monster hits and monster albums were synonymous with many of the milestones that one marks their teenage years with, right? So First Love, graduating high school, all of that stuff, right? Like there's every one of these songs just, that's that. So I am almost a completist. I'm missing one. So I'll just throw this one. This is not a gatefold, but a triple fold. So you got to show it.
Trifold.
This is Nebworth. Kind of looks bootleggish, but it is an official release. Nebworth 96. when their albums came out in the 90s, obviously they were pressed on vinyl in the UK, but not over here. So originals are really hard to come by, and they're very expensive. If you want a first pressing of, what's the story Morning Glory, it's several $100s. So I'm not prepared to pay. I do have an original of Be Here Now, the third album. I lucked out on that, but the first two. They weren't reissued until the late aughts. So I don't know, like 08, something like that. It's the first time they were reissued. And I have those. All my Oasis albums are those, call it first generation reissues. So there was a period there from, the late 90s to the late 2000s. I didn't have Oasis on vinyl. So I have this, which I'll show just for oddity's sake more than anything else. I bought this around 2000, and it is a pirated copy of What's the Story Morning Glory. At first glance it looks right, but when you get close and you look at the printing, the printing is substandard at best. You look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's someone ripping off the artwork. It is on colored vinyl, which the original was not. That's kind of marble, green marble, whatever. So it's not a bootleg. It's a pirated release, something that purports itself to be an original, but it's not. And I knew that when I bought it in 2000, but I'm like, I can't find an OG over here. They're just not around, and they're very expensive. And I just wanted it on vinyl to listen to, because this album is one of the most important albums in my life. So I have that. The only Oasis thing that I'm missing is Familiar to Millions, which is their first live album. I think there's only 5,000 copies produced in the world, and it's not going to get reissued because apparently Noel hates it. It is sort of the holy grail of Oasis records, and it's $500-600 all day long if you ever see one. I've never seen one. They pop up pretty much monthly on eBay at that price, and I'm not prepared to pay that. So that's what I got, and I'm happy that I wish I had Familiar to Millions for Completists' sake. Nebworth is actually a better show, but yeah. So I want to be a completist on those guys, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Let's see a couple other. Devin saying, all I need is Dig Out Your Soul to complete my studio albums. That is my least favorite. I have it. That's the one album I do not connect with. I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe I need to give it more of a listen, but I've just never in 20 years connected with that album. So Record Hound saying most of Elton's singles have non-album cuts.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about Oasis. A lot of their singles are non-album cuts. So I'm working on trying to track some of those down. But I love bands that do that because it kind of gives you a little something extra, I guess, to look for. But then it gets very expensive, right? So
Correct.
Curtis is saying, you fellas sure have made me want to dig in and complete some discographies. Well, you should, man.
The addiction
is real, my friend. Yes.
Yes.
Curtis, I'll shoot you an email. Maybe you can join us next week. Psychos Platters, good evening. We're wrapping up here in a couple of minutes, but thanks for tuning in at the end here.
Yeah.
What's Tim saying? I think I have all Oasis, but Noel and Liam's solo stuff is more sprinkled out. I kicked myself because I always have been kind of a Noel fan, so I have all the High Flying Bird stuff. But when he left Oasis continued on under the name of Beady Eye, and they put out 2 albums, and they're not very good. And I remember them vividly being in my local record store when we still had a good one, and I never bought them. And I wish I would have, because now they're very expensive. So, yeah, you win some, you lose some. So, well, it's fun, guys. I'll do what I always do at the end of one of these deals. Is we'll go around the horn, and if you want to promote anything on your channel, John, are you walking and talking? You bought a collection you're going to do a video about, or maybe you did a video already and I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, basically I filmed I think I got 5 videos out of it just to keep it at the 10 to 15 minute mark. And just going through each one, what I know about it, what I don't know about it. So it's kind of a cool journey. So yeah, I'm just releasing those every other couple days or so right now. Yeah, I want to get to the walking and talking again once that humidity chills a little bit here. But yeah, I want to get back to those because I kind of miss doing those, being out and again having people like, I don't know, people see somebody talking on a camera, they have a problem with that. I don't know what to do. I don't even have it aimed at them, and you always get like a remark or something, asshole, when you're walking by, like, what the hell did I do? Starting to think I'm an asshole. I don't know what's happening here, but yeah. So that's and then whatever comes to my head, I just pop a video up and do it.
Good. Brian, tuning in from Tokyo. Welcome, man. Better late than never. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. Stop. Thanks for saying hi. Richard, what's going on at the Vinyl Tap House?
Oh, not a whole lot. I did put out a video a couple of days ago, response to Daryl's Northern Vinyl Guys Greatest Hits video, which is kind of like this one, where it's like I didn't realize how many things I was a completist on. I didn't realize how many freaking greatest hits I had. I thought this is going to be hard for me. I only have like 4 or 5. Like 30.
Yeah.
So who knew? Some of them had been done already, so I didn't show those. But anyway, and also put up a live stream, very spontaneous, like, hey, I just got back from a meet and greet with concert buddy Chance and Steve Carlson and a bunch of other a few other local BC types at Twits and Shout in Denver. They went on to a couple of other places that I'm familiar with, but it's like, I've spent enough money, I'm going to go home. So I did.
How close is St. Louis to you? Because that's where Concert Buddy is, right?
St. Louis is like, it's a long drive. It's like almost 10 or 11 hours.
Holy shit. What was he doing up in your neck of the woods then?
Don't know. I think he flew in.
Maybe he was up for work.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think he was in just for the weekend. I can't remember if he was leaving Sunday or Monday or. Yeah, nice guy. Very. I mean, we always say that about meeting up people. They're just like you see them on VC. Sure. He's fun. He's funny. He is exactly like.
He's one of my favorite people. He and I started around the same time, and I think I was like subscriber number 10 for him, and he was like number 15 or 5 or whatever for me. And we've been on the journey together for a while. And he's a good friend. I just would love to meet him in person one of these days. So that's cool. You got to do that.
Yeah, it's a good time.
As for me, what do I have on the go? Nothing. I used to be, fairly religious in my frequency of releasing videos. I would have, we do this live stream every Wednesday night, and I would release a new video every Sunday. The idea has run a little dry. So, I only have like 900 records, and I've made 300 videos. So you kind of go, what am I going to talk about now? So I think I'm going to decrease my frequency a little bit to go every other week rather than every week for the next little while. And it was also, I found the last few were, sort of, I have to make a video because it's Friday night. I got to film it. And I don't want it to be that way. So I'm not in this to be a YouTuber. I'm in to talk about records with my buddies like you guys. So I'm not going to make work out of it. So we're going to go to every other week. I'll probably do the greatest hits thing because, like you, after I watched Daryl's video, I'm like, man, I don't have many greatest hits. Oh, wait. I have a lot of greatest hits. And Chris Mann, who was the inspiration for that for Daryl, I do, you and I do a bunch of live streams with Chris. I always give Chris shit for all his greatest hits, and I probably shouldn't. Let's put it that way. So that's probably going to be what this week's video.
Hey man, I think I have more than he does.
Yeah. So. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight. That was a lot of fun. Great topic idea, John. It's one we've never talked about before.
Yeah.
And it's a thing I think all of us to a certain degree have with certain artists. So I think it's pretty relatable. So
yeah,
that was fun. To all the folks watching tonight, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for chatting with us in the comments. For those that are going to watch this later, thanks for spending a couple hours with us. It's a blast. I'll be back next week. Maybe with these guys, maybe with other people. Maybe Curtis will join us, and then Joe and Daryl will be back in 2 weeks' time. So that's everything for us, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same channel.
Yep.
Have a good night, everybody.